And now we turn to a man the entire world stops to listen to when he speaks. He has been called a financial Obi-Wan Kenobi. He is billionaire Warren Buffett, and GMA financial correspondent Biana Golodjiga sat down with him, tracked him down to ask him what should be next. Biana?
Good morning, Diane. I did track him down. Behind me, you'll see the beautiful Sun Valley Lodge, where every year business titans from around the world come here to talk about the economy. That's on everyone's mind. I had a chance to talk to Buffett about the economy as well. And while he thinks the worst is behind us, he doesn't see a recovery anytime soon.
Well, we're not in a free fall, but we're not in a recovery either. We were in a free fall really in the last quarter of last year, and starting in the financial markets and then spreading to the economy. And we had this huge change in behavior. That change hasn't changed.
You've seen many recessions come and go. Does this one, has it affected the consumer differently?
Yeah, I think it has. I mean, I've never seen it quite happen like this. What happened was in September, late September, the American public, I mean, they saw money market funds break the buck. They saw commercial paper stop. They saw all kinds of things that they hadn't seen before. So there was a shock to the system.
Judging just the unemployment rate, as I mentioned, we're creeping much closer to 10%. Where do you see that number finally peaking?
I don't know where it'll go to, but it's got a ways to go. You can't predict it exactly. But we, in our own businesses, we made a tough decision here recently to let 500 people go in a company that only employs less than 3,000. And we didn't want to do it, and if we saw things coming back, we wouldn't do it.
Would you be surprised to see that number hitting 11%?
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not predicting it, but no, that would not surprise me. I want to emphasize, we're going to come out of this better than ever. I mean, the best days of America by far lie ahead, but not next week or next month, and I don't know exactly when we'll come out, but we will come out big time.
So do you think the administration jumped the gun by saying that they're starting to see green shoots, they're starting to see signs of a recovery? We even saw Vice President Biden come on ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos and said that they may have misjudged the severity of the recession. Yeah. Do you think they did?
I've thought for some time that this was not going to be a short recession, nor was going to be a shallow one. And you know, what numbers they were seeing, I don't know, but the numbers I was seeing told me this was going to be a very, very tough year.
I want to talk about the stimulus, and there's been a lot of debate as to whether or not we should have a second stimulus. Paul Krugman has suggested that. Some members of Congress have. Do you think that we need a second stimulus?
Well, I think that a second one may well be called for. Any stimulus acts with a delay, including the first one, but it is not a panacea. A stimulus is the right thing. You hope it doesn't get watered down in many ways. I mean, you know, our first stimulus bill, it seems to me it was sort of like taking half a tablet of Viagra, you know, and then having also a bunch of candy mixed in, you know, as everybody was putting in things for their own constituencies. And it doesn't have really quite the wallop that might have been anticipated to have.
During his campaign, obviously, he threw your name out a lot as a mentor and someone he turned to for advice. How often do you speak to him now? When was the last?
Not often. No. I speak when spoken to, I'll put it that way.
Does he call you?
No, not often, no.
Do you think, looking back, TARP was worth it and TARP was needed?
I don't think it was done in a very sophisticated way, but I think anything that restored confidence was probably useful, even if there may have been a fair amount of you know, just window dressing to it.
What are your thoughts on how the public-private plan has gone so far?
You know, so far it's just kind of gotten pushed down the road further and further. I do not like the idea of any kind of a plan involving the government where Wall Street makes a lot of money. My plan provided they'd make no money whatsoever, and where the American public would make the money. And I just don't. I think Wall Street owes the American people one at this point.
I asked the legendary investor which one index he follows the most. Robin, leave it to Warren Buffett to say that he follows the freight train index the most. It really shows movement of raw materials throughout the country. He's seeing that that's declined 20% over the past year, and that's something that worries him.
Yeah, something else. All right, Biana, thank you so much. We always appreciate his insight. Appreciate it.